What is going on, everyone? VladKilljoy back again with another video. Today we are talking about the end of chapter event. Yes, that is right. Chapter 3 is confirmed to start December 7th. And boy, is it going to be a big one. We have a lot to talk about in this video. We're going to be talking about what's to come at the end of this season, and also everything that we know about chapter 3 right now. And a lot of people haven't been talking about the stuff that I know about chapter 3. So make sure you stay tuned for this entire video. I guaranteed you're going to learn something new. And hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe. We got a lot of news coming forward. When chapter 3 starts, we have a lot of stuff to go over, so you don't want to miss out. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so that way you never miss an upload, and let's get right into it. All right, for starters, let's talk about the end of event and everything that's to come to the end of the season. So, of course, we have the brutes that are being worked on right now, and it's going to be the exact same way like the turrets were at the beginning of the season. Each location is going to have their own funding station. Right now, Pleasant Park is about 90% finished funding. So when it finishes funding, brutes will start spawning at these locations, Pleasant Park being the first one, and you can actually use the brutes at those locations and all over the map. But you'll have to get them from Pleasant Park for starters, or any of the locations that end up getting funded by the end of the season. I know everyone hates the brutes. I hate the brutes. I'm not looking forward to it, but hey, at least it's like only 2 to 3 weeks remaining in this season and chapter. Additionally, talking about all the funding stuff, the last week of the season, we will be getting every item that ended up losing the votes. For instances, the Rift-to-Go, the Combat SMG, Boogie Bombs, and hopefully the Prox launcher. I'm just taking a guess there and saying the Prox is gonna lose the vote. It might not. If it doesn't, then we'll see the Flintlock. It's gonna be a very chaotic week when all these items return to the game. The loot pool is gonna be filled with a bunch of stuff, and the gameplay is just going to be insane. That's all I can say about it. We get to finally see what the Combat SMG can do. We've seen a little bit of it in the Fortnite. It got released in there for a couple of hours. It looks pretty good. Like, the recoil's not too bad on the Combat SMG, but I definitely want to like actually play with it and see how it works. And then of course, you know, Boogie Bombs, Rift-to-Goes, I don't need to say anymore. Also around the map, we have the IOs working on a like war hut, trying to prepare for this giant battle that we're about to have at the end of the season with the Cube Queen. And they're actually fortifying one of the bunkers that we have yet to see open. This bunker being right outside of Pleasant Park. And my theory is that this is going to be our escape path. Right below that bunker is probably going to be the 0 point, or where they have the energy of the 0 point to be able to open up other portals. My theory is stuff's gonna hit the fan. We're gonna have to dip out. The bunker's gonna open. We're gonna drop in. We're gonna go through the 0 point, and we're gonna end up on the new map. Gonna be huge. Rumors have it that the chapter 3 map is actually twice as big as this map is. I do have somewhat of a picture of what the chapter 3 map may look like, and we'll talk about that later on in the video. We're gonna escape using the 0 point. Therefore, the Cube Queen cannot kill us or take the power of the 0 point. And when we actually get to the event dwindling down, some might say, our days are counted right now, you know. When we get closer to the end, the entire map is going to start being corrupted due to the Cube Queen and all the cubes and whatnot. She's going to corrupt the entire map. I think at that point, we may actually see Blevin, the blue cube, actually start moving. We know in the files that he already has like a set move path, but we haven't seen him move yet. So I feel like it's either going to be right up to the point where the event starts, or it's going to happen during the event when we see Blevin actually start moving. This event's going to be huge. It's supposed to be like 15 to 30 minutes long. So the event's on the 5th. After the event happens, downtime's going to happen. It's going to go all the way through December 6th. And it's going to start back December 7th with the new chapter. We know that we're probably going to lose someone very dear to us during this giant war, and that person is the Foundation. We know this because of his in-game text that we have from the leakers. The quote that's in his description, right, is his sacrifice won't be forgotten, leader of the 7. So we know he's going to end up sacrificing himself in this giant war. We just don't know how it's going to happen or why it's going to happen. But we do know that we're going to end up losing the Foundation at the end of this chapter. Unfortunate, but somebody's got to do it, right? I mean, he is the leader of the Seven. Captain's got to go down with the ship. So, I mean, if he ends up saving us all, then, like, bravo. His sacrifice won't be for nothing. But who knows? Cube Queen might survive, and we might have to fight her off on the new map. Who knows? Maybe the Foundation might come back. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. There's so many questions that I'm going to answer today, but it's going to open up a whole nother box of questions that we don't have answers to. And that's why I love this game and the lore that they have. It's never ending. We figure something out, one thing out, and it opens up like 3 more questions that we have later on. So that's all that we can expect for the end of this season or chapter, however you want to say it. Let's go ahead and start talking about chapter 3 and what we know. For starters, we know that the Cube Queen will be playing a role in chapter 3. We don't know how though. We just know that she's going to be a part of it. Probably during the first season of chapter 3, we're going to see a Spider-Man collab and a Boba Fett collab. Now, the Boba Fett has already got a release date. It's going to be on the 24th of December. With the Spider-Man collab, we actually get a new Spider-Man mythic. This is how we kind of know that the Spider-Man collab is coming. We don't have an official release date yet, but it should be during the first season of chapter 3. And with the Spider-Man mythic, the item code name inside the files is West Sausage, which is web slinger, right? Because they always try to like match it up. So it's got text for a swinging attach location, swing detach time, swinging accelerate, and swinging jump. Those are all the tags that we know about the new mythic that's coming to the game during chapter 3. So that's the collabs that we're going to be looking out for during the first season of chapter 3. Let's talk about the chapter 3 map. Okay, so there is a inside source. This map's been leaked already. It's not the actual map, so I want to go ahead and say that it's not the actual chapter 3 map, but this concept is based off of the rough draft that Epic has actually used for the chapter 3 map. There's an inside source that has someone who works at Epic. He gave him the picture of the chapter 3 map, and of course, like, you can't just like release that because of legal issues and all that. So he ended up making his own concept of the chapter 3 map using the outline of what Epic has used for the chapter 3 map, if that makes sense. It's very interesting when you look at it. There's a ton of biomes, which I'm super excited for because I feel like that's what chapter 2 was kind of missing. Like, we have a couple of biomes, but like a lot of the area on the map all feels the same. There's not really a lot of difference between the areas. So I'm really glad that they're listening and going to implement biomes into the new map. I mean, with the map starting off with new biomes, we'll probably get more biomes as the seasons or as the chapter goes on. Speaking of biomes, we know for a fact that chapter 3 is going to have a desert biome, a swamp biome, and a snowy biome, which is awesome because that brings back that like chapter 1 feel with like Polar Peak and Paradise Palms and Moisty Meadows. Was it Moisty Meadows? Someone correct me down in the comments down below. It's Moisty something. Y'all know what I'm talking about though, if y'all played during the chapter 1 map. And the reason why the downtime is going to be so large for this update, I mean, of course it's going to be a long time anyway because it's a new chapter and all that good stuff. We're also upgrading to the Unreal Engine 5, which should be huge for everybody, right? Because not only is it going to bring better performance to the game, you know, we're gonna be able to like render in items a lot better. It's not going to be as demanding on your system with this new Unreal Engine platform. Everything's going to look a lot better, and they're actually going back to the old art style from like chapter 1. Now it's going to be updated still, but it's going to be that style that we grew to love in chapter 1. We actually have some pictures of it. We'll get into that a little bit later. I'm going to save that for the end because we actually do have a screenshot of gameplay of the chapter 3 map. It's a big one, I told you. Okay, we got a lot of news to cover. So let's talk about the new mechanics that we can see coming to chapter 3. One, as we already know, the sliding mechanic. We know that's coming. We even have a little teaser photo of the chapter 3 with the sliding mechanic going on. They're kind of teasing it there. You know, very well done. If you never heard of the sliding mechanic, you'd probably never think twice about it looking at this picture, but sliding is definitely coming. That's like 100% proven for sure coming to the game. These next 3 mechanics that I'm going to name aren't confirmed, but they are definitely something that Epic has had on the drawing board for a very long time. So we could possibly see these coming to the game as well. That includes underwater swimming, climbing, and surfing. Now I know what you're asking. How are we going to do all this? You know, how are we going to swim underwater? How are we going to climb? How are we going to surf? Like, how's that all going to work? And I got the answers for you. In the new chapter, we're going to have loot buoys that are out in the water. These loot buoys are going to have valuable items in it, and also they're going to have one of the new items that are also coming to the game, the flopper flippers. Now what the flopper flippers are going to be able to do is it's going to increase your swim speed. It's going to double your swim speed. It's going to double your dive jump height and distance, and it's also going to allow you to swim underwater. The thing is, you can only do it for 30 seconds or else you run out of air and probably die. I don't know if it's going to be like a ticking matter where, you know, after the 30 seconds runs out, you start, you know, taking a little bit of damage because you can't breathe, or if you'll just instant die. I don't know. We don't know how that's going to work exactly, but we do know that that is on the drawing board. And if we do see the flopper flippers come, that's how it's going to work. Additionally to the water biome, we're going to have whirlpools come back, which we all love whirlpools. They're a great way to move around the island. And with this island being twice as big as the chapter 2 map, we're going to need a lot of mobility. So I'm glad that they're already kind of thinking ahead for that and adding in all this mobility. Also, in a certain area, there's going to be Fortnites of the old. Okay, kind of play on words there. It's going to be kind of like a old timey, you know, Renaissance type of area is how I see it, with night NPCs, and they're actually going to have sword and shield combos. You can actually attack with these swords and shields. Additionally, you can use these shields to double jump and surf on the shields. Okay, while you're surfing on the shields, you're also able to fire your weapons and swing melee weapons. So pickaxe, the sword, whatever the case may be, you're going to be able to shoot and actually fight back while you're surfing in the air, I'm guessing, with this shield. And I know we kind of talked about the swamp area, and I'm guessing there's also going to be a jungle area because there's something mentioned about mole mittens that you can get, which are, I'm guessing, are going to be gloves that you can wear that allow you to climb up trees. Pretty interesting mechanic if you ask me. Apparently there is an energy bar for it as well, so you can climb up, you can shoot your gun while you're hanging onto the tree, but it's gonna make your aim a lot worse because you only have one hand to shoot the gun. So like your accuracy is gonna drop tremendously while you're climbing. If your energy bar runs out, you're gonna end up falling out of whatever you're climbing up, whether it's a tree, players' builds, a wall, whatever the case may be. If you run out of energy, you're gonna fall and you're gonna take fall damage. You're not immune to fall damage when you're wearing the mole mittens, so just keep that in mind. We also know that vaults are going to be returning if these patch notes from the insider are true, which I do believe they are because he got the code name for the map correct, which is Artemis. He's been right about a lot of other things, including, you know, chapter 3 and, you know, the event coming to the season, the end of the season here. I'm like 90% believing this guy. Epic can do what they want, you know, they can always change things, so just kind of take it with a grain of salt, but also kind of prepare for it. There's also supposed to be like a strange energy at the center of the map, which if you ask me kind of sounds like the 0 point. And with the strange energy, there are some side effects if you get too close. Now the side effects include increased run speed and increased jump height. Now I don't know if the jump height is going to be higher than say 3 stories, or if you're just going to be like immune to fall damage like the hop rock effect does. We'll just have to find out when we get there. Going on with more items and added things, we got like 2 more here. One's kind of a mechanic. The other additional is ghosts. We're apparently going to get ghosts that roam around certain areas. I don't know if it's going to be all over the map or if it's going to be one area in particular that they're going to be at. But apparently they're going to have really good loot when you kill them. But the thing is that they can teleport and they can disappear. So you gotta watch out for it. They're not just going to stand still. They can teleport. You're going to lose track of them. It's going to be hard to track them down. And that's why they drop really good loot, because these things aren't going to be easy to kill. Now let's talk about the thing that I mentioned previous about kind of a mechanic, and that's storm mutation. Now, Epic has mentioned about them messing around with the storms, and apparently they added some different way to the storm works in public matches. But if you ask me, I haven't really noticed anything different with the storm. Now, that could all be just a workup to what's coming in chapter 3, and that's 2 storm eyes during the first circle. So you're gonna have 2 different like eyes of storms on the map on the first circle, and as the match goes on, they're just gonna like morph into one and get smaller. That's gonna be really interesting to see how that actually plays out and how big the area actually is going to be. Because I mean, if you think about it, the chapter 2 map, if the chapter 3 map is twice the size of chapter 2 map, that's gonna be a huge map. So I could see them having 2 storm eyes for the first circle at least, and then them, you know, morphing together as the game goes on. That's also going to increase people staying alive. It's overall going to be good for the game, I feel like. And I'm really excited to see what's going to come with that, how the games are going to play out. It's going to be a whole new world, especially with, you know, the sliding mechanics and all the other stuff that I mentioned. It's just going to be insane. It's going to feel like an entirely new game. And I can't wait to go over everything once it actually releases. That's going to be it for the new items that are coming to the game in chapter 3. All right, so I mentioned earlier before that we do have a screenshot of the chapter 3 gameplay. I'm going to show that to y'all right here and kind of break it down a little bit as y'all are looking at it. So we see the battle bus. As always, we know the battle bus is saying, which is awesome. We see this little like desert biome. We see, you know, the snowy mountains, and we also see kind of a old style castle type deal, POI right there over the mountains. I'm guessing that this is where the Fort Knights of the old are probably going to be. This area looks like that old timey Camelot type of POI. But if you look a little bit further back, you can actually see what looks like a volcano as well, which gets me really hyped because I loved the volcano POI on the chapter 1 map. This screenshot just gets me absolutely hyped for chapter 3. Like, this just looks beautiful. This looks like something out of a completely different game. Like, this is insane. We see like the trees in the back on the edge of that snowy mountain. We get the POI, we get the volcano, desert biome. Oh my god, this map is going to be so much fun. I already know. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. This is a real screenshot, by the way. 100%. This is real from the chapter 3 map. You're gonna have to take my word on it. Inside sources. Nothing more needs to be said. But let's get on with the other news. So let's talk about some other things that we know. We know that the Foundation is going to be a Battle Pass skin in about 6 months. I don't know if that's 6 months from the time that the person leaked it or 6 months from the start of chapter 3. So we could possibly see the Foundation being a Battle Pass skin in season 1 of chapter 3, or it could possibly be season 2 of chapter 3 at the latest. Honestly, I could see it more being chapter 1, if he does end up sacrificing himself at the end of this season, then like it just makes sense to me to add him into the battle pass for the new chapter. We're also getting a new person, and I say that with a question mark at the end because we don't really know what it's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be a monster, a boss, NPC. We don't really know. All we know is that it's going to be neutral, so it's not going to be aggressive or anything like that, and it's named Big Butter Cake. Take your guesses down in the comment section below on what you think that might be. I have no idea. A giant pancake, maybe? It's going to be interesting. We also know that come Christmas or around the Christmas time, we're going to have the Christmas gifts like we did last Christmas with the Nutcracker, where we get to open up a present every day for, what was it, 13, 14 days. And we should get a free skin at the end as well, because there is one present that we can't open until the very last day. So with the map being twice as big as the chapter 2 map, like I mentioned before, we're going to have a lot of mobility. And with mobility, it's not just going to be items and whatnot to help you get around the map quicker. We're also getting new vehicles. And before I get into the new vehicles, I want to talk about one that I know that y'all are going to be super interested in, and that is the Quad Crashers returning. Epic is reworking and adding different things to the Quad Crashers as we speak. Some of those things mentioned are the air boost max speed and boost force in air. Don't know exactly how those are going to work, but if I had any kind of idea on it, they're probably working on a way to make sure that people can't just like fly across the map on a Quad Crasher like we used to back in chapter 1. I know it was super fun. I'm sure you could still do it, but you're probably not going to go all the way across the map. You know, you probably get a good distance. We'll just have to play with it, you know, see how it works, see what all we can do with it. I'm sure within the first month, there's going to be a ton of exploits, ton of new things to do. Additionally, on the vehicles that are coming to chapter 3, we're also getting jet skis that are apparently going to be out in the water POIs. If I had to take a guess, they're probably going to work kind of like the boats do, maybe a little bit quicker. So maybe like a Quad Crasher on water. I would love to drive a jet ski though on Fortnite. I feel like that would be really fun, especially with it just being like a mobility item. Being able to get across all the water like you've seen in the chapter 3 rough draft concept map that I showed earlier. So you're going to need something to be able to go across it, right? Jet skis are probably going to be the fastest way. And if you don't want to use jet skis, then they also have rowboats and sailboats that you can use. These are probably going to be a little bit slower. They're probably going to be a little bit more tankier though, so they're going to take a lot more damage. You give up a little bit of speed, but you gain a little bit of health in return. So it balances out. Who knows? There might be loot on those things too. I don't know how big they're going to be or how many passengers they're going to carry. I don't know any of that. I just know that they're coming. We're also getting a Abominable Mobile. That's really hard to say. Say that 5 times fast. And if you do, tweet at me. But these will probably move a lot quicker on the snowy areas, going up the snowy mountains. But I guarantee they're going to be the best vehicle to use in the snowy biomes, hands down. Nothing's going to beat them in speed. But yeah, I don't think I need to say any more. I'm super excited for chapter 3. I almost said season 3. It's just force of habit at this point. We've had so many seasons in the past that season just comes out first. I mean, we've only had 2 chapters, you know? We've only gone into 1 chapter, so it is what it is. I'm super excited for chapter 3. I know you guys are. We've all been wanting a new map, and that's what we're getting with chapter 3. Along with all new mechanics, it's going to change the game out dramatically. You don't want to miss out on the tips and tricks that I'm going to have when chapter 3 actually releases and we start digging into all the new mechanics and figuring out the best ways to use them, when to use them, all that good stuff. There's going to be a ton of content on this channel right here. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell so that way you never miss an upload. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.